people over here. All right, let me see here. So I gotta do a, where are you here? Okay, I gotta do spotlight, spotlight, remove, and I'm gonna add there, and I think we're golden there. All right, we are streaming. And streaming to you live over on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome, guys. And we are, oh, and by the way, we are live here on Zoom. So if you're not over here on Zoom, you're over there on Facebook, YouTube. We would love to see you over here on Zoom. All right, guys. So if you are not familiar with our weekly coherence meditations, we do these every single week at 6 p.m. Eastern. Our main YouTube channel is Cosmic Gaia Community. Of course, like I said it before, we got here live Zoom every week. Love to see you over here. You can find the Zoom link over at freedomsnap.org/Seth. And that link is right here. So if you want to use that QR code, you can point right over to Freedom Snap, or I'm sorry, that right there, that QR code. Over here is the YouTube channel. So you can see all of our live stream events over there as well, and all those recordings. So if you miss one, definitely head over there. We also have a newsletter that you can join over here on Freedom Snap. So please do that right there. We do have some very cool announcements that are coming out in the next several weeks. I would say just give it a month or so. In the next month, we'll say, just to be on the safe side. Join that newsletter. You can also add the event, our weekly event, to your device's calendar on there. The format of our coherence meditations are the first maybe 10 or 15 minutes of intro and brief discussion. And then we go right into the coherence meditation. So coherence meditation probably lasts about half hour, 45 minutes. So we encourage everyone to do coherence meditations as a daily practice. Take a little time out each day. And last week's title, I don't know offhand. I forgot it already. But this week is a lot of the inner work. So it's titled Awakening Inner Change. And Seth has some pretty cool, exciting news, I hear, right? So off to you, Seth.
Thank you, Greg, as always. And thank you, everybody here. So grateful. I'm so happy because we keep seeing the same people coming back and they're bringing people. So I love that kind of connective care, loyalty. So this is going to be important tonight because we're seeing this pop culture spirituality kind of sweeping the globe in all the Western kind of worlds. It's like, being spiritual is like becoming mainstream. And that's exciting. And at the same time, we got to ground out, you know, it's not about the way people think spirituality is, you know, you look like long hair, you wear all this nice beads. No, no, that's just the outer. I saw an ad come up and it said, get known as a spiritual influence. I can't even say it. I want to laugh just saying, but I'm like, really? This is an ad. This is what people are putting out. It's like, but the positive, it's good. Thank goodness it's starting to become in everybody's field of awareness. That's awesome. That's great. And you guys know, or you wouldn't be here. It all comes down to how connected you are, I am, to this, to all of this. And that is something, because look what's happening, right? It doesn't take too much to look around at the world and notice, like, wow, we are way off kilter. We are out of touch with our own inner nature. And at that level, we're having a negative effect on nature around us in any and every way. But when we choose to prioritize being aware of this bioelectromagnetic force of nature, this energy that allows us to perceive reality, even our ego, our sense of self, comes from this energy allowing us to be here. That to me makes it really exciting, because then it's kind of like all the terrible things happening in the world, they're not as terrible, because we're recognizing that as these beings we have the ability to really become conscious of not just who we think we are, but what we are. And what are we? Like I just said, we each are all some kind of force of nature. Hold on, give me one moment here. Also, bring water. If you guys don't have water or juice, get that. It'll help because we'll charge it up. So, what are we? Individually and together, we are this profound, animating force of nature that is causing every system in our body to function faster than the speed of light, faster than sound. Every single one of us has overcome hundreds of millions of other sperm. Sorry to be so bold about it, but of all the sperm, right, that fertilized our mother's egg, we made it through, right? If it was any of those other ones, we might not be here. I mean, maybe the soul would want to come into its, its own connection with the mother and the father. But think about it, we have overcome hundreds of millions of odds. I mean, talk about the impossible, right? Talk about a breakthrough. We did it. Each one of us, no matter if we are as healthy as could be or if we're struggling and going through hell, we each already overcame impossible odds. But then all of a sudden we're born. We start thinking that we're somebody because the world teaches us that. We begin to believe who we think we are because we're just doing what everybody else around us is doing. And bit by bit, we stay on this like really surface level of who we think we are. Seth, this is me. I live right here, nowhere else in my body. I live in my prefrontal cortex. When we begin to perceive reality through our entire being, not just in our head up here, when we begin to perceive reality through every part of our body individually, all the different organs and systems working together, when we begin to perceive reality from a place of reality, right? Because even science is trying to say, you know, we all exist in 10%, whatever, I can't think of it, but we have the ability to become so conscious of this consciousness that who we think we are starts to lose relevance. And the reason why is because we're focusing on what we are, a literal miracle, literal in every single one of us, causing all these actions to happen. I know I'm not nearly smart enough to make my body function, but I do know that if we begin to perceive who we are from a more deep level, from a heart-centered level, through having compassion and recognizing the awe of this miracle that we all are and that everything is, we become empowered. And we have the ability to really become empowered. And that's why we're all here. Because everything happening in the world, it's pretty obvious we need to make some changes. And it just so happens that we are making those changes. This life of being totally disconnected to nature is really just an effect of us not knowing our own inner nature. And so living in the world and dressing however you want and having long hair or whatever people perceive as being spiritual, that's just on the surface. It's just on the very, very surface, because the real reality, what is actually happening, is so huge. It is bigger than we could even begin to perceive. But when we stop focusing on who we think we are, and we get into our whole body. Then we learn that our body literally can allow us to perceive deeper and deeper levels of reality. And then suddenly we're connected to nature. Our own inner nature shows that we are literally connected to these coherent fields of everything, all the celestial bodies in the sky. Before we get into it, though, I want to see if anybody has anything they want to ask or bring up. And if not, that's okay.
So I kind of piggyback off of that, and you're absolutely right. It's quite a change actually, because I remember years ago, it's like the whole meditation thing, like people didn't know how to approach it. People would be like, "Oh, you meditate?" Like, think of it as like weird. And it's kind of funny because even just past couple of years, my brother, who I never even knew he was into some of this, but he's started meditating. And it's like whenever I see him, I kind of hold like a common subject or a little like kind of sub series of subjects, because I showed him like my grounding mats and like grounding mat on my bed, and like I'm like, oh yeah, go for like distilled water. Gave him a book on chakras, some cool stuff, But like I think that also some people don't know where to begin with like meditations, right? Like what the heck do you just sit there? Do you just like sit there, close your eyes and not talk and just kind of, fold your hands? What do you do? Like, so anyway, that leads into one of your pretty little surprise topics, right? Do you want to save that, or do you want to announce it kind of, on?
I'll wait for now. I
Okay.
know
All
everybody's
right.
gonna be like, come on, tell us. It's
Well,
a
that's why they
chorus.
got to go and subscribe to that email newsletter
Yes,
over here,
exactly.
guys.
Yep, get on it. Basically, more help. It's coming in
Yeah,
a
I mean,
multitude of ways.
yeah, like you got like what, Joe Dispenza, you have like all these like, the breathing people too, like Soma Breath and like, many other places, like you see more and more of that out there on the internet. So it's
My
definitely become a
goodness.
lot more spiritual, in the past several years.
And really, it's so simple too. Like when you really start to think about how much we boxed ourselves in, we don't even know it. We've created a prison of self and we just stay right in it. Somebody comes over and opens up the gate. No, we don't want to leave. We want to stay right here in who we think we are because it's the known. But when you begin to start perceiving reality from every different organ, gland, everything happening in your body all at once, you begin to remember how miraculous this is. And then suddenly, who you think you are becomes influenced by what you are. This miraculous field of energy that is way bigger than we could ever know, but that we can be in harmony with it. So I'm going to shut up because I can go on forever because it is forever.
I kind of left it hanging also last week, and I had a perfect prelude. And when I mentioned after hearing you say like we only use like 10% of our brains, and then I went on and I said, well, the movie Limitless, and perfect perfect feed in there is that like we all are limitless, right? Like we all are connected, and we all have that connection to whatever we want to know. We just got to do the work.
Yeah. And the inspiration to do the work, again, look at our world. Look at everything that's happening from a more objective standpoint. Our world needs us to be in harmony with our inner nature. And honestly, it's when you begin to understand some of these like core principles or foundations, everything that is presented here is so simple. We just didn't know what to call it. And now that we are calling it different names or words, we're having the ability to create conversation that allows us to take more, to bring next levels of the conversation out. And that's great. It's exciting. All right. I'm going to calm down. I would love it for everybody else to calm down. Just totally relax your body. From your head down through your neck, your chest, your back. Just kind of scan this and rest every part of your body, from the top of your head to your feet. And as you're relaxing, be aware of your breathing. And as we always do, it's just simple, rhythmic breathing. 3 or 4 seconds on the inhale, 3 or 4 seconds on the exhale. And we call it rhythmic breathing because when you get your breath equal on the inhale and equal on the exhale, it begins to cause your heart and your brain to be syncopated to your breathing, and also the other way. Your heart and your brain and the coherence they create influences your breathing. And so as you're completely relaxed, relax your nervous system. If you don't know how to do that or it doesn't make sense, just relax even deeper. It will all begin to make sense the more that you practice. And so as you're breathing, as you're relaxing, smile from your heart. All it is just putting a small smile on your face and feeling what that smile represents to you in your heart. Because when we smile, it usually reminds us of laughing or loving. Whatever your smile feels like to you, let yourself feel it. So you're breathing, you're smiling, you're feeling what that smile feels like in your body. And with all of that stuff going on, see if you can feel your heart beating in your chest. You don't need to think about anything else. Just feel like you are pure awareness. Like for a few moments, you don't even have a body. Give yourself permission to have such an aware connection to life that you begin to trust it more and more. And so, with everything relaxed in you, feel your heart beat. It has its own intelligence. Heart to beat. That's you beginning to reconnect to what is the most pure form of reality, the primary focus of life. And so, the same energy that is the cradle and grave of universes also is what happens to be animating these bodies, as well as who we think we are. It's not separate from what we are. They are completely unified. And the more that you continue to become aware of this force, the more the barrier between who we think we are and what we are, that barrier begins to dissolve because we are totally relaxed throughout entire being. So relaxed. Every part of your body. And in that relaxed presence of you feeling your heart beat, see if you can feel your pulse in the middle of your head. If you can't, don't worry. It's just exercising the part of you that has the ability to become more and more aware of all these dormant perceptual muscles that we are now activating as we choose. And just know the only reason any of us are here in our lives or currently together in this group, the only reason that any of this is happening is because this force of nature, this miraculous pulse of life itself, that is so highly intelligent that whether we are conscious of it or not, that energy is making everything work. We could be sleeping and our breathing is regulated. It's an involuntary response. And so when we begin to show appreciation to this miracle that we all are and that everything is, that is us as individuals choosing to have a greater relationship to life. Same life that we all came in with in these bodies. Same life that no matter how small you focus or how big your attention span can go, no matter which way, it all leads back to this life. See if you can keep your breathing balanced while at the same time feeling your heartbeat. You're just breathing. You're feeling your heartbeat. And your awareness choosing to focus on the rhythms of your breathing with your heartbeat at the same time. Your breathing has the ability to be syncopated with every heartbeat. And through making space to become aware of this potential, will begin to reintroduce you to the most important relationship that any of us could have. And that relationship is us, who we think we are, choosing to make a habit of focusing on what we are. And what are we? Everything and nothing, up and down, all polarities in our perception of reality comes as a result of all these different polarities working in tandem to produce you becoming conscious of your consciousness, not in theory, in actual experience. You're choosing to make a healthy environment in your body, around your body, and all the organs, glands, tissues, fluids, all of the hardware of our being is being animated by what we are. And the more we make that relationship a primary focus, the more we are able to perceive reality and not be stuck in it. We've grown up in a world that has encouraged us to perceive reality in a particular way. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just time for you and this life force to expand its own possibility. And this is cause for celebration. Think about everything that you hold dear, all the people in your heart, whatever it is in this world that you love and hold dearly in your heart can become charged up. It can become amplified when we take our seemingly limited awareness and focus it on this internal energy, this force of nature we all are. We choose to focus on that. We amplify this energy inside of us. And the more we make a habit of this focus, the stronger the life force in us becomes. And from that place, doing the inner work, being conscious of consciousness, we amplify the power of this connection. And the more we amplify this connection, that's always there. This force of nature, this miracle has been with us from the beginning, probably way beyond. But we know that energy is what brought us into that world. And when we begin to feel gratitude, we also amplify this animating principle with our choice to create more connection to. And the more we do that, the more our brain, our heart, all of our organs, all our muscles, bones, when we focus on our consciousness that is causing this to happen, the stronger it becomes and the more it amplifies its force through all the systems of our body. And the more we practice it, the more it will eventually lead us to a place where in our form of limited perception, with our form of limited perception, becomes so strong that the same things that used to trigger us don't, not much anyway. The people or situations that we dislike or that we feel scared from, the less power any of that is able to hold over you. And the more you get who you are, syncopated to what you are, the more others in your life, those you hold dear, the more they become affected through this heart brain into what you are. The person that you are, that is intentionally focusing on what we all are. That influence of what we are becomes stronger, and it begins to influence who we are because it's always been there. It's just that nobody taught us how to do this. But now we do know. And it's about you being conscious of your inner voice, of your awareness, being aware of awareness itself. The more you choose to have gratitude, awe, the more you choose to become aware of what was always there, the more you are able to increase that energy in every part of your body. And the more you become coherent with what you already are, the more the physical and non-physical world becomes syncopated to you being aware of it. So because you're choosing to make a primary habit of focusing on what you are, the more what you are begins to reveal just how empowered you have the ability to be. When you create an internal environment for you to consciously be aware of what this force is in you, the more this force allows you to feel how much support you actually have. And the better you get at focusing and being aware of your own awareness, the more you become aligned with just how miraculous this energy is. And you do this inner work and you become conscious of consciousness, the more your bones, all your organs, the more filled with life force it becomes. every bit of you gets upgraded because you are prioritizing time every day for you to become more and more aware. And when we look around and see all of the tragedies, all of the negative, chaotic energy that's all around in this world, when we can witness all of that from a place of inner empowerment, the more we're able to look at all the hard things that are hard to look at, the more we bring balance to the part of us that is perceiving everything around. Incurable symptoms or conditions can be cleared really fast. Any of the trauma or drama or any of the struggles that you watch others going through, when you perceive all of this from a place of balance, from a place that is more focused on what you are, so that it gives support to who you are in this world. And instead of being programmed or influenced from limitation, the more you're able to feel coherent with this planet, with this galaxy. When you start to become aware of how connected you've always been to what you are, the celestial bodies all around us are holding their own coherence. And this coherence will support us, just like the sun shining on our faces from far away. So too does everything in this infinite space. The more who you are becomes supported by what you are. And when you begin to feel the experience of being supported by this massive, coherent field of the universe itself, the less you worry, the less attached to specific details, the more you're able to relax, is to the degree that you will be set free from all of your limitations, all the individuals that don't treat you the way you want to be treated. When you begin to treat yourself the way you want to be treated, the more you're able to draw a line in the sand with others in this world. When you draw that line in the sand, that is you taking responsibility for how you perceive reality without any care of any criticism or any kind of stress-based projections that the world here appears to be stuck in. And so if we can be physically aware of all of this while our species lives in a planet of limitation, of addicted suffering, all the things that hold us back, that begin to define us because we're spending so much time focusing on it. The more all of that stuff begins to dissipate, the more you begin to feel just how miraculous this energy is. The more you begin to feel yourself as this miracle you are, and you don't care what anybody thinks, any of their criticism. You just become so in love with life that you want to literally be in states of being that are deeply peaceful. And while a part of you is so calm, the other polarity is to be wide awake, to find this balance between complete relaxation, almost ready to go asleep, while at the same time, your awareness is bright, brighter than the sun, completely relaxed body with glowing, bright awareness. The more you choose to feel the interconnectivity of nature in this world and in all of the celestial coherence of the world around us, the more we begin to tap into all of these great forces. And because we're tapping into it, it is supporting us eventually in ways that are beyond even our imagination. And it just so happens to be the nature of reality itself. No limitation, no belief systems that are held together by fear, no more projections of others' chaos affecting us. the more we get who we are in tune with what we are, the more all of these great coherent forces around us can supercharge this energy in us. And the more you make a habit of doing that, doing the inner work, the more empowered you become. And that empowerment is a role model for others. If you are as peaceful as can be, while at the same time hyper aware, you've found that balance. And from that place, others will appear in your world around you. They will feel how at peace you have the potential to be. So it's so peaceful. And at the same time, it is so strong. And it begins to remind others, even if there's no words spoken, it begins to remind others that they too are this. And when we make a focus, a practice, a priority to know the very force that allows us to be who we are, the more that force ups the amplitude of how we perceive reality. And it makes it stronger. And the stronger it gets, the more confident you become, because you're experiencing how connected you are. And this is a reason to celebrate. So just keep breathing rhythmically, gently. Continue to allow your body to be strong and relaxed. And the feeling of that smile on your face correlated to the feelings it invokes within you. Let all of that just work without trying to make it, because it is working unconditionally. And if there's anybody that you know in your life that is suffering, that you love or care about, from this place of peace, just feel whatever that relationship looks like in juxtaposition to their struggle. You are choosing to perceive them through the eyes of love, but not just any love. It's you turning on that feeling in your body that chooses to be at peace, to be in love, or to whatever you want it to be. And you don't have to have a reason for it. You can choose to flick the switch of your inner love light. And the more you practice that, the more anyone and everyone in your heart becomes connected to in ways beyond imagination. And with everything happening in the world, we are all in the best possible situation to bring all of that universal coherence into our body and into our world. And together we know the relationship that we care about most. It allows us to breathe, to think, to care, to function. Our relationship to life itself becomes even greater. And the more powerful it feels, the more you continue to focus on it. So whether there's great struggle, or even if things are going amazing in your world, by practicing your ability to turn on your own love light because you choose to, that is a way to be in tune that will influence the chaos of this world and allow greater peace, much more free of worry and fear. It allows us to be what we are so that it influences who we are. So the water or whatever liquid you brought, just let it be in your awareness. And if you can feel your heart beating in your chest, and it feels like your entire energy field is undulating to the rhythm of your heartbeat, almost like you are a natural antenna, a crystal sending and receiving frequencies to whatever level we are ready for. Allow yourself to be aware of that to whatever degree you're able or that you want to expand with. and let that energy field that is pulsing, let that take the water you have and flood it with frequency. And if you're able to feel your actual heartbeat in the glass of water, do that. And if you can't, don't worry. When you get a lot more proficient at practicing this, doing the inner work, the more you open up the door to perceiving how connected you are and how connected you want to be. Just be aware of your breathing. Feel your heartbeat. Feel that smile throughout your entire body. And when you're ready, rub your hands together. Create friction. And put them over your eyes, the palms of your hand over your eyes. And if you want to stay in a place of calm, you can just hang up and keep going. Please like, love, share, tag this meditation so that it can reach as many as it can. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you, Greg.
See you next week, guys. See you next week, guys. Have a great one.